So the next uh, subject what we are going to cover is about the test planning. So what is a test planning? Say many of the project members may think like this: a test planning is not a useful thing. We will waste time in test planning, and we need not in the time of preparing test plan, because test plan needs lot of analysis, lot of discussion. You have to check with the you have to analyze the functionality, you have to analyze the test cases, or you have to analyze SRS documents. You have to check the compatibility of the team members, like how many are experienced in the particular project, how many are newcomers, how many can do the work fast, how many can will do the work slowly. So it doesn't mean like some people will do the work slowly but they will do with 100% perfection. Some people will do the work fast but might not be, there might not be a perfection. So these all things they have to analyze. A QA lead or a QA manager has to analyze all these things, and he has to prepare a test plan. So it takes lot of time and it takes lot of brainstorming. So many may think like this test plan is of not that much use, it is simply waste of time. But actually speaking, the test plan is a very important document for any testing activities. It is not a waste of time. It will help the team members or the management or the QA manager to decide how much effort might be required, how much cost might get involved. Always the test plan cannot, the project will not be 100% sync with the test plan. There might be some difference from the test plan when it comes to the real-time execution, but the test plan will give a rough idea, uh, like how much effort may require, what or it will be a one document for all the testers to refer, like what has to be done in this particular release, what are all the important things we should cover, or we should not miss any, what are the things that we should not miss. These all rough idea a test plan will give to the any tester. So a test plan is very important document in any software testing life cycle. We can keep it like so. Mostly there will be two kinds of test plan. Mostly when the project is starting, or if it is a major release, if it is a major release, release which is going to cover very important or crucial functionalities and many functionalities, or when the project is starting, they prepare a master test plan. The master test plan will cover the overall testing activities of a project. But if it is a minor release or it is a small release, they prepare a test plan which has only limited information, or it is purposefully limited information is put in that, because for a minor release or a small release we need not waste a lot of time in preparing a test plan. We need just a rough idea, and we might already know like it will take this much time with from the QA manager or QA leads experience. So we need not waste much time on preparing a test plan. But if it is a major release, or it is it's a start of the application testing, they prepare a master test plan. So there are two kinds of test plan. One is master test plan and one is a normal test plan. So mostly 99% of the test plan will have the same kind of content. One is object, or we can call it as objective, and next is the scope of testing. What is the scope for this testing? And next is the schedule. In this they will put a schedule of the overall testing schedule, like it starts from this day to the, like for example, it starts from 1st of January and it ends in 21st of January. So they will put like this, or in some test plan, if they have already prepared a estimation, a detailed estimation, then they will put the the detailed estimation itself in the test plan. So but mostly the test plan will cover very uh, very minor estimation. Means like very higher level of estimations. It will not go to the lower level of estimation. They will just put that what is the start period and what is the end period and how many working days into number of resources. They will just put that much. They will not give a detailed estimation because estimation will be prepared separately. So there is no need of putting a detailed estimation in a test plan. So next is approach, how we are going to approach testing, how what kind of testing we will take up first, and what is the testing approach. For that we are going to do a agile methodology testing, or you are going to do a waterfall method, or what kind of testing approach you are going to do. And roles and responsibilities of the test team, mostly like what will be the role and responsibility of a QA manager, what will be the roles and responsibility of a QA lead, what will be the roles and responsibilities of a tester, and what will be senior tester, etc., etc. So these roles and responsibilities will be clearly defined in a test plan. Whom this person will be approaching, which who will take which module, what kind of testing this particular person will be doing, smoke testing, who are all will be doing smoke testing, who will be doing regression testing, who will be reporting to whom. These details will be mentioned in roles and responsibilities, and it differs from company to company. So if there is a understanding between the team members, so everything is defined. They already know it, like whom to say what and whom to report what. So there need not be a bigger role and responsibilities column for that. So if it is not defined, it is a very bigger team, and to understand each and every member's responsibility, they make it a bigger roles and responsibilities column to define everything clearly. So assumptions, so they will put assumptions means like mostly like the application is up and running, the server is available for the test team. So many companies, they do the testing not in the local machine, they will do in the client servers. The clients will give the servers, and the test team will log in with username password, and they will test in the servers. Why this is done is because it is for the security purposes. So if they are if they are in the, if the application is, I mean, deployed in the servers of the client machine, then the security, they will take care of the security. But if it is deployed in our local machine, when where we are working, there can be some data theft, or there can be some some people can uh, make the application go down. So they don't give the full control. In if it is recently be followed, like they don't give the full control to the local, because of many of the scenarios, many of the problems that they have faced. So they create the servers in the client machine itself. For example, your client is from US, so they have different servers. They have different servers in the US itself, for testing separate server, for development separate server, and mostly this committing of the code by the developers or execution of the testing will happen in the servers. And in some cases they give the local as well, but mostly the commitment, everything the developers will be doing on the servers. So obviously your testing also has to be happening in the server. So mostly they will give for testing team a separate server, for development team a separate server, and they will be doing the testing. So as I mentioned, this is for the security, and it will be easy for them also to maintain. Otherwise you have to commit the code here in India, and then you have to commit the code again in the server. So many places they work. So this comes under assumptions. So in assumptions they will mention like the server should be available for the test environment, the application should be up and running, there should be proper internet connection. So assumption is something like at this date the application is available for testing without uh, any critical or blockage issues. There should not be any blocker to carry out the further testing. So these all will be covered in assumptions. So and they will put the risks and mitigations. So risk will be something like some of the developer or some of the tester has resigned in the middle of the project. So what are all risks we will be facing? So if India time is like India time, they come at morning 8:30 to for working, and the server is down. In US they come for working in India time around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So from that time, from morning 8:30 to afternoon 2 o'clock, there cannot be any work carried out. So so the clients has to make sure, like when the India team is coming at the morning, the servers and the application should be available for them for testing. So in many cases what happens is, uh, many build many application build will happen at the night time using Jenkins. The application build will automatically happen in Jenkins. So that is a different subject itself for knowing. I'm saying, like build, and the build might have got issues when it is doing a nightly build. So morning the application will not be there. There is some problem with the build in the night. Some developer has done something and it has screwed up the build. So morning it will not be available for the testers when they come for work. Uh, so what happens, like from morning 8:30 to until the US people reach until 2 o'clock, there will be a downtime. Like no one will be testing anything, because they will not be able to access the application. So to overcome this problem, they will do something. They will keep a build and release manager in India also, many teams, and some will not have. They will have only in the US. They will be managing everything. They will not give the access to the India. But most of the teams will have a local build and analysis manager also. I mean analysis team or a person also, so he will handle if morning it is not working. So what happens, so these all, what I was supposed to say is, like, so there is a downtime, so these all they will put in risk. So if the application should be available in the morning, and when India team is arriving for work, so and what are all other risk, like there should be the application should be up and running, the application should not have any block issues. So these blockage issues, so these all will come in risk and mitigations. So entry and exit criteria, what will be the entry criteria for the testing? So what will be the entry criteria of the testing? Normally the application, the test cases, the test plan, the estimation, everything will be the entry criteria for any testing. So what will be the exit criteria? Exit criteria will be the test and report, test results, and they will give the test cases pass and fail criteria to the client. So in exit criteria also there might be test plan, and how the testing traceability matrix, these all will come in exit criteria. So one more time I will explain about the risk. Risk is mostly like what are all the risk the project will be, the testing team will be facing if something happens in the application or something happens in the project. Like some people has resigned, or the build is not ready in the morning, and the application is not available for the testers in the morning, and there is a downtime until the client or the build and analysis team is arriving. So these all they will put in the risk. So suddenly there is a strike in Hyderabad, and the people cannot come to work, and that the whole day you cannot do any work. So these kind of things all will come in risk. So test automation, if test automation is going to be done in the project for regression test cases, then the test automation, there will be in manual test plan, there will be just a small column about the test plan of automation, because for automation testing they prepare a different test plan for automation testing. But in the what I said is in the major test plan, they will put the automation column as well. In that they will mention about what kind of automation they are going to do, and for what test cases they are going to do automation, which tool they are going to use, and which scripting language they are going to use for automation.
This conference will now be recorded.
So how they are going to give the automation reports, these kind of things, it depends on company to company. Some company will give a detailed of in the test automation, but mostly in manual testing plan they will give mostly this test automation will be covered in the master test plan. They will just mention like which automation tool they are going to use, which scripting language they are going to use, and for which test cases they are going to do the automation. So next is the deliverables. So deliverables column will have like what are all the deliverables will be given to the customer. So mostly the deliverables will be test plan, estimation, traceability matrix, test cases with pass and fail status, and test and report. So test and report will mention like about the report, how the testing is being carried out, and how many bugs has been closed, how many is still open. I will explain the test and report in the coming modules. So these will be the deliverables. So I will repeat, deliverables will be mostly they will give the test plan, test cases with pass and fail criteria, test and report. This is very important. Then they will give traceability matrix, which I have explained previously. And some companies they give the even the test plan to the client. So why they give test plan to the client is like the client will cross verify the testing estimation or the testing carried out time and the cost involved with the testing. They will compare with the test plan whether everything went as per the plan or no. So some client will, okay, I have mentioned already about the test plan. So some client will ask for the test plan, some will demand for the test plan also to be shared with them as a deliverable, because they wanted to compare how the testing went and how much cost has been involved in the testing. So they give test plan, other things are very much understandable, we have to give that as a deliverable, test cases with pass and fail, test and report, and traceability matrix. So this is about test plan. Now I will show you a sample test plan. So as I said, there will be two kinds of test plan. One is master test plan and one is testing level specific test plan. So this will be for each different modules, or maybe for each release, for every release they don't prepare a detailed test plan, that will be a master test plan. So it is a single high level test plan for a project or product that unifies all other test plans. So it will have the detailed report of all the test plans which are going to come for each release. Testing level specific test plans are each level of testing, or you can call it as testing level specific, is exactly not like this. They don't give separately. Testing level specific is for each release they give a different test plan, which will not be a bigger test plan. So what are all the test plan have is test plan identifier. So they will give a unique document name for the test plan. It can be it will mostly relate to the configuration management. So what name they have configured, that same name they will give for the test plan as well, so that you can relate it. So in introduction, this test plan there is no hard and fast rules like you have to write in this way, that way. So many companies have different types of test plan. So if anyone asks what are the fields in test plan, or what are all the columns in test plan, so these all are very generic columns like objective, scope of testing, approach, roles and responsibilities, assumptions, risks and mitigations, entry and exit criteria, automation, deliverables. So these are very common things in a test plan. And some companies may have some different columns, and they may eliminate one or two columns from this, or they may add one or two one or two what subject in this. So it all depends of company to company. Some company will follow like that, some companies follow like this. So but yeah, overall, what is test plan or a generic approach for the test plan are these all things. So you can mention the reference. Reference will be mostly the project plan and configuration management plan, and sometimes you can put it as SRS or software requirement document, or test requirement document, or business requirement document. To test items, what are the software you are going to test for this particular release, features to be tested. So this is very important column. What are all features you are going to test for that particular application? You have to mention here very detail, like in functional testing or in manual testing, what are all features you are going to test, and what are all features you might not be testing. List the features you will not be testing. For example, there is a security related test case, so that will come in security testing, and there is a performance related testing to be carried out in one part of the application, so that will not come into manual testing, it will come in performance testing. So that all we will mention here in this particular subject, like you will be testing, you will not be testing this performance testing of this particular page, and you have to mention in detail in which page what functionality is and why we are not going to test. So this is, as I said, it is all like the words have been jumbled. There will be a different word, here will be a different word. It all depends on company to company how they are going to use the uh, heading names. So some will have a different heading name, some will have a different heading. So but as I said, there is no hard and fast rules for the test plans, but most commonly used headings are all this which I have mentioned. Okay, and mention the overall approach of testing, how you are going to do the testing. Then specify the testing levels. If it is a master plan, if it is a master plan, you have to define all the testing levels, also what level testing until you're going to carry out, like unit testing, integration testing, regression testing, etc, etc. I might have one like that, I think. No, I okay. So suspension criteria and reject resumption requirements is like when you will suspend the testing activity, like for example this the application itself is not running and you cannot further, so you cannot continue with the testing, so it comes under suspension criteria. And when we will resume the activities, like you have suspended the testing activities because application is not working, or there is a blocker issue, like you are entering the username password, it is not entering into the application itself. So these all are suspension criteria where you cannot continue with the testing itself, you have to stop the testing. And resumption requirement is like when you will continue the testing. So specify testing activities which must be redone when testing is resumed. So and suspension criteria is like when the testing activity will be suspended. Then test deliverables, what are you going to, as I said, you can see here, test plan, test cases, test scripts if it is automation script, and defect and enhancement logs are like test end report or test reports. And this is mostly comes under traceability matrix, what are all passed, fail. And yes, you will give the test cases with what passed, we will give the full test cases with pass and fail criteria, but again you have to give this as well, defect logs, what are all defects you have raised. Like there are some 10 issues which has been raised, or some there are some 50 issues which has been raised in the particular release. You have to prepare a document of all those cases which are all failed to the client, so that they need not go through each and every test case, and they need not filter the failed that, and it should not take them much time to find out what failed and what passed. So this sometimes this defect and enhancement logs they will cover in the test report itself. Then test environment, what kind of environment you are going to use. These all you should mention. You should be having knowledge before you start the testing this test environment, or before the project starts itself, like what kind of hardware is required, software is required, network, etc. Then estimation, you can put a overall estimation here, or you will put a detailed estimation. You will attach the detailed estimation document into this document itself. So if it is a excel, you can attach an excel itself here. You can put a hyperlink, or you can attach a the estimation excel itself in this, so that this can be used for viewing the estimation. So they will just double click and see that, and you'll give the estimation cost or effort as well in that, and schedule, and the staffing and training rates. This is nothing but what I explained here. Roles and responsibilities, here we are putting the staffing and training rates. Okay, there is one more column, responsibilities. Here you will mention like, if you need any specific skill set resources, or you need any members who is having some specific skills, so that they only can do the testing. For example, you wanted to do a banking application, you can mention like you want specific skills with people with the skills of banking application. You can put those things here. So, and if the team is required any training, like this application is new for many of the team members who is already working for very long time for in the project, so you need any training for those team members to enhance their competitiveness to do this particular testing. So that also you can mention here, what are all training you need. And risk, as I said, what are all risk will be there. I have explained that in very detail. Assumptions and dependencies, you will what are all assumptions. So here we have said like assumptions, just here dependency, what are all dependency also, like uh, you need a particular hardware, you need this many resources, all those dependencies, and you need Windows XP, or you need Windows 10, you need a Chrome, what are all dependencies for the project. Then approvals, what who has to approve everything. So this is very important. Test plan guidelines. So you have to make the plan very concise, like it should be very much easily readable, and it should be very clear and understandable. So avoid redundancy, like don't put so much information into that, and don't make it like a very complicated document, and make it very simple and easy to learn. And see, this is very important. I said like there are no hard and fast rules in the test plan. So if you think you do not need a section that has been mentioned in the template above, go ahead and delete that section in your test plan. So if you don't, if you feel like there is no need of your project doesn't have a test automation itself, there is no plan in the near future like to add a test plan. So don't mention column itself as a test automation. Just remove that, and don't mention it in your test plan, because that is of no use, and it is unnecessary waste of line, and it creates unnecessary confusion. So then be specific. This is what I mentioned. For example, you want to specify a OS, you need a operating system. Don't just mention like we need a Windows operating system. Be specific what Windows operating system you need. You want Windows 7 or Windows 10, or be specific in whatever you are asking for. So make use of list or tables whenever possible. You know that list and tables will give you more clarity, or it will for reading it will be more easy to read for the people who is going to read the test plan. So avoid lengthy paragraphs. Don't put so much paragraph. If you feel like there is to be precise, don't add a paragraph, or don't add a column, or don't have a what to say, uh, yeah, uh, a particular heading like more than 10 lines. Even if it is not 10 lines, if it is 5 to 6 lines, it will be better. If you feel that a particular column or particular heading needs more than 10 lines or a huge paragraph, make it as a tabular column, and present it in a better way so that it will be easily readable for the person who is going to read that. So make use of lists and tables wherever possible. Have the test plan reviewed number of times before baselining. Yes, you read it number of times, any number of times, so that there is no breakage in the test plans in the future. So the quality of the test plan will determine how you are going to execute the testing activity. So be very careful in preparing the test plan. So the test plan will say you like how good quality you will give the application. It will give a initial impression to the client or anyone that how you are going to do testing or how very well you will carry out the testing. So may and I said don't avoid lengthy paragraphs. If you feel like there should be lengthy paragraphs, make it as a table or list which will be easily readable. So don't use outdated and unused document is worse than having a document itself. So if you feel like if for namesake if you're preparing a test plan, like we have to prepare a test plan for this particular project, we prepare the test plan like that. If you're making a test plan like that, that is of no use. Instead of that, don't prepare the test plan itself. Instead of that, you without having a test plan itself, you can carry the testing activities, but it is highly suggested like you should have a test plan. So there is another test plan example. It is the same as I said. I have put a template. Just see risk and contingency how they are giving here. So you can put a risk and contingency by point risk. This is the risk. This application should be up. This employee should not resign. You can put that risk by point. But this looks very good. Risk and what is a contingency plan for the risk? Correct? You are putting like risk employee can be resign anytime which will affect the testing activities or the estimation of the testing. Contingency plan, we will have a backup employees with less experienced people and we will train them at the meantime. So any of the employees resign, we will replace him with the backup employee so that we will save a lot of time. So at the initial phase of testing or the initial phase of the application itself, we will have a backup resource also, and we will cope up whenever an employee resigns. We will cope up with the backup resource, which will save a lot of time and which will save the estimation. You can mention like this. So or we will hire someone inside the company itself, is someone else, and who will be immediately joiner and he will start working, who has the same domain knowledge. You can put anything. So risk again, as I said, there is a application downtime in the morning because the servers are in US and the build failed in the nightly build. So what is the contingency plan for this? Yes, hire a build and release resource in India itself, and when build failed, he will work on that, which will save a lot of money of the Indian resources. I mean, it will save a lot of time of the Indian resources. So other things are, see, everything they have made it is a tabular column, which will be very easy to read. So I can show you one test plan which I have prepared for my company, but it is not for a manual testing, it is for automation testing. But it is little bit very easy to understand because I didn't make any much complicated test plan. See, you can see here introduction. The test plan has been able to communicate the test approach to team members. It includes objectives, scopes, assumptions, etc., which is deemed in out of scope. Okay, then resources who will be working on the resource, which resources will be working on this, then scope. See here I have put automation, you can ignore that. The test cases which will be shared by the client we will be doing, and which tool we are going to use for that. It is for automation again. What demo we will give after the automation is completed, and we will do the delivery, etc. You can see that it is very easy. Assumptions, what is assumed, the project is stable because it is going to be automation, And risk, see here you can see the risk. If user interface is changing extensively, cost associated with the script maintenance will be very high. So it is again for automation. If there is any delay in clarification, this is one risk. Yes, it is very good risk. If there is any delay in clarification of doubts raised by the India team to the on-site or the client, and they took long time to resolve that doubt, it will affect the delivery schedule. So you should not be hesitating to put any risk which you feel it will happen. From mostly the risk will be done with your experience. You should not hesitate, because the later point of time the question will come like why it has been not captured before. So you should not hesitate to put any risk. Then test strategy, test environment, entry criteria, exit criteria. You see that entry criteria, what are all test plan, test cases, resource. So exit criteria, manual execution, automation of scripts are it is required, demo to on-site. Okay, then naming convention, so it is for automation, you can ignore it. Test result, version control. So I wanted to show this one, team structure. You will give in the team structure in this way. So management, in most of the cases they will mention the name as well. If it is a bigger team, who is a manage and who is going to manage a project management, who is a test lead, and how many automation testers. They will even put like management is, for example, we'll ignore the management, is like you can put someone called Anil is the project manager. They'll mention like this. And automation test lead is a Siva, and automation tester is a Raju. So here someone called as Sveta. So you can include these columns like this, 3 4 3 4. If this is very big, you should give team structure. This flowchart has to be given different way, who will capture which module in detailed way in different flowchart. So mostly then you, in that case, in this if it is a huge application and if there are different modules, there are some 10 modules, then you have to prepare 10 test plan, which should be for individual models to get the better clarity. So here you will give all these things. So you can see roles and responsibilities here. Overall responsible for the planning and execution of the test activities and delivery. So test lead, what is the test lead's roles and responsibilities? Acquire full knowledge of the product, create a test strategy, coordination, day-to-day follow-up and coordination for the test activities, reports to test manager, responsible for defining test scope, ensure the quality of the test specification. So here I have mentioned automation tester. It is more or less same what he has to do, bug reporting and closing. You have to write it, execute the test cases, execute the test plan, create test cases. You put automation, you can keep it as test cases. So estimation will be put here. See, as I mentioned, you can give the link of the estimation. This will be very easy so that they can go and verify the detailed estimation instead of putting all this here and making the test plan unreadable or making it very not looking good. You can keep it as, so here you can give the link where you can find the estimation. So this is all about a test plan.